Hello, welcome back to Footylife. Today we are going to be going over the first match day of the Euro 2020s. The Euros here, this time has begun, and it's the biggest topic in Europe right now. Let's talk about match day one. The opening ceremony was fantastic by the Opera in Rome, and the first match was between Italy and Turkey. A comfortable win for Italy here. Ani, what are your thoughts on Italy-Turkey game?
Yeah, I think it was a match a lot of people, of course, looked forward to, not just because of it being match number one, but also this was Italy, a team that hasn't done well in recent tournaments. They've got a lot of a rejuvenated squad, you could say, a team that's really come together here, bonded well. They haven't lost in a very long time together against Turkey, said to be one of the dark horses of the tournament. So with the result being 3-0 for Italy here, it was a little interesting to see Turkey really did struggle to create anything throughout the entire game. And this was just a game of Italy dominating, asserting themselves, and making their presence known in Euro 2020.
Yeah, absolutely well said. Italy's been known to defend, just get results 1-0, not attack. And they really crank up pressure in the quarterfinals, semifinals, right? That's what Italy we've seen over the last 10, 15 years of what Italy is. But this Italy team, they go attacking. They've got experienced and young talent. I really want to talk about some players here, but just the defense, right? They've got the best defenders, Bonucci, Chiellini, good experience. Then they've got good young attackers. And this team, Turkey sat back. Turkey couldn't do anything. Do you think Turkey did a mistake by sitting back a lot, or Italy was just stronger?
I don't know if it was that Turkey sat back by choice. I think they simply don't have that extra quality needed to go forward, and Italy didn't afford them any time on the ball. Italy dominated the entire game. No matter where it was, whether it was defensively, offensively, in the middle of the pitch, the midfielders absolutely won the midfield battle. And big question marks were, can Ciro Immobile do it on the big stage for his country? Because we know he can for his club, but he struggled for his country a few times. So goal and assist, great way to start.
Absolutely. I want to talk about these two players. Maybe these two players are not famous because they play for Sassuolo, Berardi and Locatelli, and amazing performances from Berardi, Locatelli. And I think the most underrated player, Jorginho, if you saw that, his holding position, just sitting in front of the defense and making those tackles, intercepting passes, like no wonder he's learned so much at Chelsea, and then putting that performance in Italy, just absolutely beautiful.
You're right. Lots of credit to Jorginho for dictating the play, and then you're right as well. The wingers in midfield, Berardi and Locatelli, running endlessly up and down the wings, being those outlets to turn defense into offense, and also getting those balls into the box.
Absolutely, and your wingers, you got Spizzola on the other side, and you got Florenzi, and man, those guys are the best wing backs. So it's very interesting how this team is from forward they become just two at the back, and those wingers. Spizzola was playing on the other half. Actually, I thought he was the mid for half the time.
You're right. He does get forward often.
Absolutely.
Let's go over to the second game. And this was a game where you've got Wales against Switzerland. Wales, we know, made it to the quarterfinals last year, and even upset Belgium too on the way to get there. So lots of experience in the team, and you've got a Swiss team as well that's normally a tournament team. They drew 1-1. What do you think of it?
Yeah, to me it was very interesting, like 1-1. I think I predicted a draw on a last episode on a Footylife channel. 1-1 draw. I'm looking at the stats right now. Possession 62% Switzerland, total attempts 18 Switzerland. It seems like Switzerland was the better game here. I did not check the game here, but I feel like Switzerland just got unlucky here. So much possessions, 12 corners. They just couldn't score, and of course Wales scoring in the second half.
Yeah, I think you're right. Switzerland did play well. And Gareth Bale couldn't really assert himself on the match as he has done in the past for his country, really being that key player, making things happen and ultimately scoring a goal. Um, but we can't forget it's match day one, where it's the first game of the tournament. I think more teams prefer probably to get a point out of the match rather than to lose all 3 points. Because as soon as you lose that first game out of 3 games, you're in a big hole already, and I don't think anyone wants to be there. So I don't know whether it's teams are sitting back more, not taking as many risks. They're making sure they have their numbers behind the ball rather than pushing up too much and really pressing for a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting in this group because we both know, Italy will progress here. We've talked about Turkey being the dark horse and Turkey not doing well so far. It'll be interesting to see if Wales or Switzerland they make it on second, and even if they both go through as the third best team.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be very interesting, and I know we haven't got there yet, but we will get there. And Turkey really hasn't done well once again. Well, I'll just say they've lost their second game as well, because we will cover half of match day two as well. Um, they're in a big hole, so a lot of desperation will be needed for their final match.
And which is very surprising for Turkey. The dark horses, they could cause upsets. A great Turkish team and playing at home in Istanbul, losing 2 games. That's disappointing for me.
You're right. It is. Let's go on to our next game, where we had Denmark and Finland, and Finland did walk away 1-0 winners here. And I know there was a lot of debate. Should the game be played? Should it not be played after Christian Eriksen had his heart attack on the pitch? A very sad moment, of course, and thankfully he is okay. He's recovering. Will he play football again? We won't know that for a very long time to come. And also, we'll have to respect whatever decision is made, and a whole nother conversation on its own as well, of course. You had a Danish team here, very high expectations coming into the tournament, very, very good squad, well-rounded, good setup defenders, good midfield, and even a decent striking force too. I do think the event had a toll on them in this game. And Finland, their inaugural showpiece here, they managed to come away with the victory, 1-0.
Yeah, just talking about this, the game, like there's a lot of rumors here. The game should not have been played. Or why did the game got played that day? I know there's sponsors, there's sponsorships, there's schedule, but it's interesting. I still feel like the game was played on the request of the players. Ericsson, he FaceTimed them. He said, "Okay, guys, go ahead, play the game," and the players played the game. Of course, it was emotionally very difficult to get that mental strength and be back in the game because you're not there. You've seen almost your a family member almost die, and of course he's recovered. I think they should have waited for the next day. Oh, but the players were involved, which is very interesting to see that players wanted to play the game and not it was not made by UEFA. uh, but I heard the press conference of the Denmark manager, and he said that we shouldn't have played. We were asked to play. So there's so much gray area in the middle there.
Yeah, what I heard was that Ericsson did say you guys should go and play, but the players didn't actually want to. And that's why Simon Kjær, their captain, that's why he was subbed off so early after they resumed play. It wasn't an injury or anything, but mentally he just couldn't play the game anymore, so he came off.
Yeah. And again, absolutely the penalty save by Finland goalkeeper, a fantastic save. But you know, just look at the pressure on Holberg. He's got the pressure to take that penalty. Already so much is going through the mind. And of course, rather if it would have been something else, I think Denmark would have scored.
I agree with you. Absolutely. Let's go on to your favorite team, or I think is your favorite team. We got Belgium against Russia. 3-0. Lukaku put on a show. What did you like about the game?
Absolutely fantastic game. Russia with the Russian home crowd. I thought this game was going to be a draw. No Kevin De Bruyne, and we just know how good Lukaku is. To me, I think he's getting more and more a complete center forward of number 9. He holds the ball, he plays the ball, he scores the goal. His third goal, first time touch. Just amazing. No Kevin De Bruyne. I didn't feel anything. His presence was not felt. I still don't know how the Belgium midfield was what was happening with Tillemans and De Donker. But De Donker, from Wolves, he played in the midfield with the sorry, actually no, yeah, he plays in the midfield with the Hazard and Castagna, and amazing. Like this is the team which I think can, of course, make it to the finals, semifinals. I know they will play a heavy horse in the final, in the semifinals. Maybe it'll be France or Portugal, but Lukaku, I think he should go. I thought after this game he's going to be a golden boot. He's going to go, try to be a golden boot winner. Again, he hasn't scored anything today, so very very surprised. But yeah, like Belgium is here, and you know that like they're just motivated. They're hungry to win.
I completely agree with everything you said, and I think Lukaku will trouble any defense no matter who he comes up against. He will be in those defenders' minds that he comes up against, that he can turn them in the blink of an eye and put it past the keeper. We know Thibaut Courtois won the Golden Glove at the World Cup, and he put in another fine performance here as well. So good way for him to start as well.
Yeah, I was surprised about. Yeah, absolutely. Good way to start from Belgium team. I think the injury from Castagna and Thomas Munier and coming in, amazing, right? Very good click, very good sub. And just look at the bench they have, right? It's depth in Belgium squad, so that depth could cause some damage in the later stages of the tournament.
Oh, 100%. And I think it definitely benefits them as well. Since they got those 3 points, yes, De Bruyne will play the next game, and Hazard's not fully fit, but this is the perfect opportunity for them now to just warm those players up and make sure they're ready for the knockout rounds. So Belgium in a very good position here.
Absolutely. Perfect. Moving forward to England, Croatia, back in Wembley, England fans really, really making sure that this was going to be an easy game for them. And a surprise scoreline, just 1-0. For me, I was really surprised. Nothing by Harry Kane, no goal, just a goal by Sterling. Very, very surprised to see Sterling starting as well. What are your thoughts here, Ronnie?
Yeah, I was surprised by the scoreline too. And going back in history for the English team, they've never won an opening match of a Euro before. So they have managed to break that. But Raheem Sterling, the team selection, it was interesting, but in an England shirt, he's done very, very well, and especially under Southgate. And Southgate knows what he brings to the team and the type of player Sterling is. So it was nice to see the manager put that trust into him, even if it came at the expense of a couple others, and he was rewarded with it. Scored the goal, was active in the game, created chances, and made things happen. Again, I am very surprised it was only 1-0. I thought for sure both teams would score, um, but that might again have to do with it's game number one.
More pressure.
Teams really didn't want to lose and concede goals here.
Well, an interesting thing was, I'm looking at the stats here: 52% possession for England, 48. Not much of a difference. Total attempts 8 and 8, attacks 32 to 37. So, passes completed 385, 389. It feels like it was a very, very balanced game, and I'm surprised, how England did not dominate Croatia. Maybe they had too much respect for Croatia, or maybe it was just like they were trying to just see how to click.
No, you're right. I think Croatia did struggle a little bit, and we'll see how they do in their next match.
Yeah, exactly. Well, moving forward, Austria, North Macedonia. That was an interesting game. Austria, North Macedonia. Of course, we knew that Austria would be favorites to win here. What are your thoughts here on this game?
I think both sides were fortunate with the way they might have scored some of their goals. I mean, Macedonia's goal, absolutely lucky. Bachmann should have held the ball, should have never popped back out. But good for Pandev for being aware and alert.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the second oldest scorer, I think, in the tournament now, and it's fantastic to see him still playing and representing his country. For Austria, they played a very good game though. They were expected to win as well, and you had their key players involved. I mean, you saw Marko Arnautovic came on off the bench, scored a very key goal. Unfortunately, got himself a one-match ban with the celebration. Um, but you had Marcel Sabitzer, David Alaba, Konrad Leimer with the assists, and that's exactly what those players are intended to do, to create and provide chances for the players around them, and that they did it perfectly.
I love the celebrations. It's always Albania, Austria, Serbia, all this hatred and war. It still comes into football. This is just It just drives me crazy. Like, why do you want to bring it up here and say things?
You're right. It doesn't belong anymore, and especially when you're wearing patches on your jerseys and on your sleeves that say respect and
Yeah,
all these different messages throughout the years, and then you're going out and giving a complete opposite message. Doesn't fit here.
absolutely. Moving forward to the next Group C game, Netherlands Ukraine. Was this the most exciting game in match day one? You know, 2-0 down, 2-2 Ukraine back, and then just 3-2. I felt like this was going to be a draw. And the Ukraine team, remember I talked about this, they're not scared to attack. Oh, I feel like Ukraine lost points here. This game would have been a perfect draw. Well, what are your thoughts on the game here?
Well, I think we knew, and I said earlier that Netherlands have a very good attacking team. The question marks were going to be over their defensive abilities, and this is where you said Ukraine aren't afraid to attack and score and go out there and pressure teams no matter what the score is. So you're right. As soon as it was 2-0 Netherlands, I thought, oh, you know what? They are going to be too strong. Ukraine never troubled them once, never had any pressure, and then all of a sudden, uh, their captain Yarmolenko goes and produces a stunner, one of the goals of the tournament.
Yeah,
And that gave them enough confidence going forward, knowing they could tie up the game, which they did. And then the Dutch in the end managed to turn it around in the last 5 to 10 minutes there, getting one more goal with Denzel Dumfries. Um, I would say yes, maybe a draw would have been a more fair result based on the effort Ukraine made to get back into the game, given the position that they were in. But credit to Netherlands for digging deep and making sure they came out on top in the end.
yeah, absolutely. Credit to Netherlands. You're down 80 minutes. You got 10 minutes to go. You're in Amsterdam Arena. Let's go for it. And the fans were there too. So amazing for Netherlands. Definitely they're missing that presence of two center backs, Van Dijk. And yeah, very interesting to see what Netherlands do.
So next up we had Scotland, Czech Republic, and I think this has to be goal of the tournament. I don't know what else is going to beat this, but Patrick Schick put on a performance. Um, he had David Marshall wrapped up in his own net. I mean, it was a beautiful goal. It wasn't a straight shot. You could see the ball curve, the ball flight. It definitely did curve as well and was perfect placement. And to even think to go for that type of a shot, that awareness
Yeah.
without one touch, he hit it first time. Very, very impressive. I have to say I was very surprised by the Czech performance. Even take that second goal away, they played very well, and I certainly underestimated that team. And it'll be very interesting to see how they do moving forward.
Absolutely. This was the first, kind of the second upset after Finland, Denmark. Like, what happened here? Because I was thinking Scotland's going to win it, but just as you said it right, the goal, the awareness, that was just fantastic. Just the goal, the awareness from the half. That is the goal of the tournament, and good for Czech Republic to beat Scotland there. Scotland has a game tomorrow coming up with England, and if they can't win that, Scotland's in trouble.
Yep, absolutely. I did expect more from Scotland, and we did say one area they might lack is their attack, but I thought defensively they might be a bit better.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Moving on to the next one, which was another surprise actually, Slovakia, Poland. Exactly like that. We all thought Poland with Lewandowski, give him a chance, he'll win. I was watching this game and Poland were up actually. On the second half, when it was 1-1, Poland were dominating the ball, and it felt like Poland will just score one more and they'll win. And then the red card changed the entire game. You know, a stupid red card, like you cannot get a red card when you can't just go tackle like that when you're on a yellow. And that was unlucky for Poland. And Poland was trying, but credit to Slovakia here. In the Slovakia defense, like with Skirner and Sadka, they were very good. They were fantastic.
You're right. You can't go making a tackle that Krakowiak made, especially that area of the pitch. I mean, you're right. You're already on a yellow card. You've only just received it not long ago, and then you go and make a tackle like that. He would have been okay to pull out of the tackle. He would have been okay to let the player get past him. I don't know why he went in that area of the pitch as well. it wasn't last ditch defending where you're going to end up with a card.
Exactly.
And he knew immediately. I mean, he put his hands up, but I'm pretty sure he knew what was coming after that. It was just a bad decision, and that cost Poland.
Oh, absolutely. Looking at the stats, 56% possession, 17 attempts. Like Poland were on top of this game, second half. It felt like, okay, Poland's going to come back. And yeah, that he costed he costed them the game.
Yep, absolutely.
The next game you had texted me actually be like, oh my God, you got to watch this Spain, Sweden. A very, very surprising scoreline to me. Spain, Sweden. I thought Spain would, in Seville, Spain would win it very easily and not at all. What are your thoughts on this game?
I love this match, and I know very often the one-sided games aren't particularly thrilling to watch, let's just say, but it was incredible. Sweden put on a very good show defensively. Spain very good on the ball, as we always expect them to be, tiki-taka, passing the ball around, controlling the tempo, but Sweden held on. Of course, you got to say Robin Olsen. He made amazing, brilliant saves, not just once, not just twice, multiple occasions. And Sweden actually threatened on the counter a couple times with a player that I mentioned to watch for the tournament, Isak. He was very good. I was very surprised that they took him off. I think it was prior or just at the 60-minute mark. I thought it was maybe 10, 15 minutes too early, um, because he was involved in both chances that Sweden created. One that went off the bar, one that went over to Berg, and then he put over the bar.
Yeah.
Um, so I was a little surprised to see that, because afterwards they weren't as much of a threat offensively anymore. But credit to Sweden for hanging on. I know people normally praise the beautiful offensive play, but very good defensive masterclass here.
Well, the man of the match was Lindelof. Man of the match was Lindelof here. So absolutely defensive masterclass. As you say it, 75% possession, 17 attempts, 852 passes to 100 passes. Like this, this is Victor Lindelof. Like I look at him, I was like, wow, what a performance. Absolutely. Him and with the other Sweden defense, I think that's a good 1 point for Sweden actually. Yeah.
It was a fantastic point for them. And now, I mean, yes, they have to go and play Poland and Slovakia. I think they should be very proud of the point they picked up against Spain, because they've played that hardest team and they came away with something.
Yeah, sure.
So I think they can handle Poland, and I think they can handle Slovakia.
While everybody's been reading about Group F, the group of death, this was the game we all had eyes on. Like I think the whole world had eyes on this group. First game, Portugal 3, Hungary 0. And let me say this, the scoreline do not justify the game.
Oh no,
What
not
are
at
your
all.
thoughts here?
Not at all. I just talking about Sweden with the defensive masterclass. Let's talk about Hungary as well. Yes, they conceded 3 times. However, their defensive masterclass was near perfect as well. And they were so unfortunate that the first goal they concede is off a deflection. And it wasn't just a deflection into the net somewhere, it deflected in the bottom corner. Had it been half a foot further, it would have been off the post and out. So I think that really broke down their focus, their concentration, and you could see it afterwards. They were exhausted. They were tired. Portugal did a very, very good job tiring them out, but I think Hungary would have hung on had that first goal not gone in. And people will say, "Oh, Ronaldo 2 goals. Ronaldo never gives up. Ronaldo never switches off." No, he doesn't. Um, but you could see on his third goal, on his second goal, the third goal for Portugal, Hungary weren't even interested anyways.
The game was over.
They knew the game was over already after 1-0 as well. So I do want to say, though, Hungary did trouble Portugal defensively on a number of occasions, and they played very, very well on the counter attack. And it was just beautiful to see, for all the football, a full stadium once more, because the one in Budapest is the only stadium that's not got a capacity limit. So it was wonderful to see. And no matter who plays there, I'm looking forward to those matches simply for the atmosphere.
Absolutely, man. And Gulachi, a fabulous performance by Gulachi too. Not scared of from the top guys. The next game, big games in Allianz Arena in Munich. I expected it to be a 0-0 here. Germany, France, Germany playing at home, having a lot of respect for each other. France 1, Germany 0. What do you think about this scoreline?
I think it's a fair result. I personally did expect France to win by more than one goal. I didn't think it would be 1-0. I did think maybe 3-1, 3-2, 2-0. But as a German fan, I have to say I'm pleased with the result. I don't think Germany played terribly. I think maybe some of the decisions were a bit questionable from the coach, the manager, but France played really well. And one player to talk about who struggles for his club but always puts on a masterclass for France, Paul Pogba, had a fantastic game. Unbelievable player when he's wearing his national colors. And yes, Mbappe two goals ruled out offside. They were offside, but France are looking dangerous. France are looking like they've come here to win the Euros after having won the World Cup, and really make a statement with Portugal. So I'm really excited for the game France-Portugal coming up to see if France can get some revenge.
Absolutely. The interesting part here is Germany had more possession and more attempts and goals, but that's not the real story. And on Pogba, absolutely. The biggest difference here, what I see is Pogba doesn't have to go and defend and go back because you have Conte,
You're
and
right.
Conte, like he will cover your back. So Pogba has to just be there and create. And it just says Pogba is good. Man United, you have Fred. No disrespect to Fred. Then Conte, Scott McTominay is good. He's young, but you have Fred, and here you have Conte. That's the huge difference how a player can perform, and he doesn't have to worry about his defensive duties.
You're absolutely right. You've got Conte, who's not only good defensively, he's the best in the position in the world. So well said. And I'll be the first to say, had Hummels not touched the ball that went across the box, Mbappe would have been there. So it would have been 1-0 regardless. But you're right, Germany statistically did outplay France. But if you can't make good on your chances, you're not going to win games.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that was match day 1. We are going to talk about a little bit of games about match day 2. We had few games here on match day 2. We're going to talk about that and our prediction for the remaining games. Moving to match day 2, Finland, Russia. Russia 1, Finland 0. I feel it was a comfortable win for Russia. Oni, what are your thoughts on this game here?
I think it was quite comfortable as well. I know Finland had one goal ruled out for offside, and it was very tight. But overall, Russia played better and did deserve to walk away with the win here. Um, both clubs still in it. Russia had lost their first game. Finland won their first game, so now they're level on points. Yes, Russia has that head-to-head advantage, but both nations still in it going into the final day for match day 3 for them. Next up, we had Turkey and Wales again. Did you still have something about Finland and Russia?
Yeah. I have a feeling both Finland and Russia will make it through. If they have one more point, 4-4, they both can advance as the best as second and third place team.
You're right, they can, absolutely. So we'll see how it goes. It would be very remarkable to see if Finland, on their first appearance at the Euros, if they can progress, but it would be great to see. They can take the spot of Turkey as a dark horse, perhaps, because I don't see Turkey, after having lost 2-0 on match day 2 to Wales, I don't see them progressing. And everyone who said they were a dark horse, including myself, obviously, we've been fooled. We're very wrong with the performances that they've created. But I just want to talk about Wales here. Gareth Bale stepped up this game big time after having been a little absent in the first one. Yes, Aaron Ramsey scored the goal, Connor Roberts scored the goal, but Bale was influential in both goals. He provided 2 assists for them, so he's taken on a bit of a different role, more of a creator rather than the finisher for them, but extremely influential in dictating where the play was going in this match here. We also had Aaron Ramsey. Shanky, you follow Juventus quite closely as well, and Ramsey didn't have a very good time in Italy. When he puts on his country's colors, always does well as well here.
He does. Yeah, absolutely. Credit to Wales here with Bale's influence, Ramsey's goal. Looking at the stats, I felt like Turkey was going for their second goal. I don't know. I mean, they've had 17 attempts. Like, how good were the attempts? But you have to give credit to Wales, you know, defense as well. Like, you've got Ben Davis and Roberts on the wing backs who've got a lot of experience. Chris Ward, the goalkeeper, very, very Premier League experience on the goalkeeper here. And absolutely, like, good for Wales here. Good for Wales for winning this because I think Wales will play Switzerland and Wales are 4 points. One. I think Wales are through 4 points. Wales are through 4 points. Like with Switzerland, even if Switzerland wins, Wales are still through with the goal difference.
Yeah, they should still advance even if they end up coming third in the group because 4 points normally gets you through. Don't forget Portugal won the Euros last time around with 3 draws, so 3 points. So 4 points, you're normally quite safe.
And a goal difference is +2, so it's a very comfortable goal difference with Wales.
Yeah, that's right.
Moves in the same group. The next Italy, Switzerland. The way the match day one first went, we knew that Italy would win, and again a comfortable win for Italy Switzerland here 3-0. What are your thoughts about this game?
Well, you know what? It reminded me a little bit of the Turkey game where the same key players played huge roles. It was a shame to see Chiellini have to go off the pitch, couldn't last the full match there, not just at the end of the match. It was kind of more midway through than anything.
Just after scoring, it was like boom, a sub.
Yeah, and then unfortunately the goal was taken away from him. But given what the rules are currently in today's game, I have to say it was the right call. But look, you've got Ciro Immobile scoring once again. You've got Manuel Locatelli, who you mentioned in the previous match, stepping up. Berardi had a very good game, making those runs, attacking again. Spinazzola, like you said, getting up there. You could say it was a repeat of match day one. Really, that's all I need to say about the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's been rumors that these players are playing so good. Like, Chiesa is not getting a chance to play because Locatelli, Berardi, and man, I'm surprised to see how much are they going to pay Sassuolo for these players to go to a big club, even if it's Inter, because Barella's there, but maybe not Inter, maybe if it's Juventus. I know Juventus are looking for that midfield, right? They need these guys, and these guys are like young Italians. Like, I'm very happy about this team, and I'm really, really looking forward to this. This Italy team can definitely make the semifinals.
They've certainly made a statement, and they have the luxury now to even rest some players, um, which is always a bit of a debate because should you rest a team that's playing well together, or should you just keep going but then risk injury? So we'll see what they do in match day 3.
Absolutely. One of the favorites here, Italy. Moving forward for today, Ukraine, Macedonia. I think everybody knew Ukraine would do a good job. A 2-1, a bit surprising on the scoreline here. But there we go, 2-1 here. Yarmolenko scoring, Yuramchuk scoring, they would have been 3-0 with the penalty miss here. Thoughts on the game here?
I think the result was as expected. I think perhaps Ukraine should have scored more, and like you say, penalty miss cost them. Ukraine had to be expected to win this match, and after not coming through, falling short against the Netherlands, they knew what they had to do and they executed perfectly.
A very interesting will be the next game, which will be Ukraine Austria. Ukraine 3 points, Austria 3 points. That'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. Will they sit back and go for a draw? Both team 4 points, both teams can advance. The interesting difference is they both have 0 goal difference. So or will they go through? I feel like that's a big game because you need that goal difference and you also need the win.
You're right. I don't think it's going to end up in a draw, that Ukraine Austria game anymore. I think in one of the predictions I've done somewhere, I might have put a draw down, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think both teams need to go for a victory here.
Yeah, because head to head, like it's a gamble on the third position. If you have, it's a draw, right? Everything just is a draw.
You're right, 100%. Moving along, we have the second game of Denmark, second game of Belgium. Denmark started very strong here. Couple seconds into the match, couple minutes, Jan Poulsen put through on goal against Courtois and slots home perfectly past him. I saw the first half of this game, a bit of it this morning, and Denmark looked very, very strong, comfortable, more like themselves, more like how we expected them to play. But like you said about the previous game of Belgium, Belgium's here to play, and you know that they know their favorites. They know this is their time where they need to win something. And Belgium looked quite calm throughout. They took their time, they built up a rhythm for themselves, and they came back with 2 goals to snatch it against Denmark here with Thorgan Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne, who it was really nice to see him come on 7 minutes later. There's a goal. He had an assist. Eden Hazard as well, another big player for them, getting an assist. So it's nice to see that Belgium's able to warm these players up and that they're still impacting the game when they come off the bench.
Yeah, which was very interesting because you had De Bruyne come in just at the beginning of second half with Mertens not being really influential, and then you have Hazard coming in, and yeah, like look at just the depth, Witzel just changes. Um, I'm looking at the stats right now actually, and man, like total attempts 22 of Denmark. I still have to watch this game. I haven't watched it. I'm gonna watch the highlights, but 22 attempts in Belgium 6. But in the end, it all just matters about winning, right? And once it was 1-1, you kind of knew it. Okay, Belgium, you've got 55 minutes are done. You've got like 35 minutes left. Let's just go for it. And just Belgium they have the quality to score.
Well, and don't forget as well when you've got certain players on your bench, you've got Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, and Axel Witzel. Those 3 players alone, to have any of those players individually within another squad, to have them come off your bench, that just goes to show their strength and depth and the creativity they were able to have to unlock Denmark, even if it was much fewer chances.
Yeah. Last game, Netherlands, Austria, a comfortable win for Netherlands. Star of the match here, Dumfries, again scoring that crucial second goal, and Netherlands are through.
Yeah, you're right. Denzel Dumfries created the penalty. He was fouled in the box. Memphis Depay, of course, as their captain and their designated penalty taker, steps up, slots it away perfectly. And then Dumfries got a goal of his own as well. So I have to say Netherlands weren't exactly troubled defensively in this one. Austria, not having Marko Arnautovic, of course, due to suspension, struggled offensively. They had a few chances here and there, but nothing really concrete that you could say, wow, they should have scored that or something. It was all kind of half chances, and they never looked threatening enough. And now they've left it up to themselves to perform against Ukraine in the final match. Whereas Holland now, 2 wins from 2 matches, can sit back knowing they've made it to the knockout round.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Halfway through the match day two, a couple of more games coming. Let's do a quick predictions here on the games for this week. Sweden, Slovakia. What do you think here? Both teams need a win.
Yes, they do. You're right. Slovakia does already have the 1 win, and Sweden also hasn't lost with a draw. I think Sweden might take this one 2-1.
So we might take 2-1. Absolutely. To me, oh man, this is an interesting one because Slovakia has a win. Sweden's going to go for a win. I think it's a draw, 1-1.
I do think both teams would be happy with the draw as well, especially Sweden knowing that they've already played Spain. I think that's a big one for them, knowing that they've played Spain and that they don't have to face the powerhouse anymore.
Absolutely. Croatia, Czech Republic. What are your thoughts here on Croatia, Czech Republic?
I think Croatia's first game, they were too reserved, a bit cold coming out of the gate. Czech Republic took the game to Scotland, wanted to start that tournament strong. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I think there's going to be goals, but I think it's going to be a draw.
To me, I think Croatia will win with the lineup they have. Brozovic and Perisic. I think Croatia will win Czech Republic, but again, Patrick Schick is in form, right? All it takes is 1 goal from Patrick Schick, and it's a game changer. Next one, England, Scotland.
I think this one's going to be the most viewed game of this match day, simply because you've got England, Scotland, a huge rivalry, but it's one-sided on paper, and I think the result is going to end up being one-sided as well. I think Harry Kane's going to find himself here. I think it's going to be 4-1 England.
Well, I hope Harry Kane scores a hat trick. I have him on my fantasy. I mean, I think you have it on our Footylife channel, has it him as well. So a hat trick by Harry Kane will definitely cheer the England fans up here. Hungary, France at home with 70,000 people as 12 men. What do you think about that game?
It's hard to say. We know Hungary is very good defensively, but I think what France has that Portugal lacked is going to be that precision right around the box. And I think it's going to be a 3-0 victory for France here. Unfortunately, 3 more goals against Hungary, but you've got Griezmann who's on fire from outside of the box. You've got Pogba at the top of the box. You've got Mbappe's trickery in the box. I think there's definitely going to be one penalty here for France, and there's just too many options. Even for teams that sit deep against France, France is gonna unlock them, and if they don't come out to challenge and leave too much space at the top of the box, the ball's flying in the net from outside.
Absolutely right. I was going to say exactly the same thing. It will be a penalty in that game. Trickery, too much trickery with French, and Hungary is just going to commit one small tackle.
You're right, 100%. I think France is just going to feed off that energy of the 60, 70,000 people in the stadium, even if they're not cheering for them.
Portugal, Germany, in Bayern, in Munich. What do you think about this game here? A very, very important game for Germany.
I think Germany are going to win 2-1. I don't think they're defensively sound, Germany, but the way Portugal played, I was a little surprised. To be completely honest, I don't think they were, let's say, overpowering, overwhelming for Hungary. And here you've got a German team that is going to be much stronger on the counterattack than the Hungarian side were.
Lovely. And last but not the least, Hispania, Poland. A very, very important game for Poland as well as for Spain. Spain needs a win. Poland needs a win here. What are your thoughts in Seville?
I think Spain's going to win this one 2-1. Lewandowski and Poland, it might cause a few problems, but I just think Spain's going to be too strong. We saw them against Sweden controlling the game. They can do that with a number of different nations as well. Even some of the other powerhouses. So I think Spain will just be too much for Poland, and Spain know the desperation that they need to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. Sorry if I missed the other one. I think Portugal, Germany as well. I do definitely want Germany to win here. Germany, I think 2-1. Portugal is, I don't know, if I saw how Hungary played and with Germany's defense and creativity, they can definitely beat Portugal. And of course, Spain here, Spain, they will just break down this team with passes, with possession. And Poland's going to go sit back, and Lewandowski's not going to have any chances.
You're right. I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a lack of service to Lewandowski, which causes Poland to not score many goals here.
There you go, folks. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe button, like the video below. It helps with the algorithms. Every bit helps. Much appreciated for the channel. We have a link in the description with the league code. If you want to join our fantasy, join the fantasy, have fun, enjoy the tournament. We'll see you next week.